Good evening, Resilience family. Welcome to another episode. I am glad you guys are here listening in, and maybe you're listening later. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Sunday, guys. It's been actually a wonderful, peaceful day today. We are alive. We are here. God granted us another day. Thank you, God. So much ado, guys. I have an awesome, awesome young man. I call him young man because he's probably, I won't say that. I was going to put your age out there. I won't do that to you, Taylor.
It's okay.
But he's a young gentleman, just very studious, very respectful. Been through some things, guys. And he's here to talk to us about it. And I am very, very excited because he's written a book to help us learn, to help us be more valued and more leaders in this world that we're journeying in. So Taylor, welcome. How are you this evening?
So first of all, I want to thank you for allowing me to be on this podcast. I'm super hyped and excited myself, and I would like to help as many people as I possibly can because I know throughout my journey, especially in the beginning of my journey of life, it's been very difficult. It was a very difficult situation, but I used my own mind and my own capabilities to move past those difficulties. And I'm not saying that my life is easy right now. It's easier for sure, but now that I have that mindset, everything seems to work in place. Timing is almost perfect for me, and I allowed myself to have that conscious awareness of being calm at every situation.
Yes.
And I am doing great. Thank you for asking.
Oh, that is amazing. So before we dive into your life, into your world, into this wonderful book, tell me your meaning, your definition of resilience.
Whew. So we all have our own obstacles, right? We all face trials, difficulties, errors. And one thing I like to say, us as human beings, we are never the trial nor the error. We are the one experiencing that trial and error. Although we should never consider ourselves as that itself. So resilience to me is something where you have a certain mindset or you have a certain way of how you act, if it's with your standards or whatever it may be. It's that no matter what stands in your way, especially when it comes to desire, you are going to use your resources or you're going to use your knowledge to surpass these obstacles. And to me, that is what resilience is.
Wow. That is amazing. That is very intricate, very important, very poignant. As you know, here, as we're called, resilience, the platform, there are many different ways to be resilient and ways to learn it, to be resilient. Thank you for sharing that. So before we start the book, just begin with a little bit about yourself. Actually, tell us a little bit who you are.
Okay, so my first name is Taylor, and my last name is Bowden. So I grew up in a very nice part of town. I really did. I'm not going to say I didn't. But the house that I was surrounded in was a very difficult situation. So from living in the household that I did, it was a very complex thing because, and I'm not even pointing fingers at anybody at this point. I have a full clean plate with everybody who was involved with what happened in my childhood. And so there's no pain or hate speech towards them. It's more of a fact that this is my experience and this is my journey. Well, now that is said, my father was extremely physically abusive. I was about 3, maybe 4 years old when he decided to, using his way of controlling or his way to, I guess, to structure my life. Like if I didn't do something right, he didn't approve of, and then he resulted into abuse. And so because of that, I had a lot of trauma as a kid. I had a lot of pain and suffering that I went through. Well, eventually even though I was in a good part of town, that led me to the wrong people at the wrong time, at the wrong places. And so now that was a big influence in my mind, I didn't, and I respect them now. I'm not saying that I don't, but I didn't respect my parents like that. Like they could have told me something to do, and I would do exactly opposite just to be who I was as a kid, rebellious, and especially when they enhanced that difficulty in my life. So now I eventually got into doing wrong things, dumb things, and then at first I was a follower, and then was following these people doing bad things, and then eventually it kind of, and I unfortunately I have to say this, but eventually I was leading people to doing the wrong things, and so at that point I understood leadership, not at like a pure intent and not at its fullest, but I understand that a leadership is a very valuable thing. Now, when you have people following you, and they're following you for a certain reason, then no matter what you lead them down to, they will follow you for the most part. But there are things that will hinder that or to separate that leadership towards them.
Right.
And so the way I can wrap up this journey is that I look back at my past, I accept all these things, I own up to all the things that I did wrong, but I learned a lot. And since I learned a lot, I can use this knowledge in my mind. And now as I go through the future, day to day, it's going to be easier for me to understand what choices to do, how to keep a level head, how to maintain my balance, because I believe balance is key to everything.
So what helps you bring that balance?
Oh, there's a lot of things. This is an awesome question. And to be honest, it is such a profound question that I might not even have a full answer to that. It's really hard. I have a weird saying, and I use this in my podcast every once in a while, is that it's easier to achieve perfection, which in this case would be the balance. It's easier to achieve a balance, but it's harder to maintain a balance.
Wow. That's good. I know for me, for the balance, I have to keep my prayer life in the front,
Love it.
Because when I don't, I start to teeter, things just start to go one side instead of, so that's what helped me with this balance, because it all goes back to your mind, the mental, and to arrest the mind, as I call it, I fill it with God, with his word, praying. That way it leads me to that balance,
Perfect.
It helps.
That's perfect. And I would say the same. I feel like God has always established my I guess my direction for me. But the thing is, we all have our own agency to decide what we want to do and where we want to go down. But God, that is a great way, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because God has always allowed me to achieve the balance easier than any other part of my life. So I feel kind of helpless without him, but in a graceful way.
Yeah, totally. So let's dig into this book of yours, The Valued Leader. Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm gonna shake it up. Tell me where you want to begin. Should we dig into the goal setting commandments that you wanted to talk about, or I'm thinking. Go ahead.
No, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. It's good conversation we having, and I'm loving it.
I love it so far, and I hope everybody else is enjoying it just as we are. And so actually, I like the idea of starting with the goal setting commandments. So in my book, and first of all, this is how it looks. It's a little scraped up. People can buy this on Amazon. It's a very interesting book, a comprehensive guide, not just to leadership, but to goal settings, and to notice how everything in life has a risk. There are several types of risks, but we won't talk about risk that much today because there's so many other good things to cover on this book. So the goal setting commandments, and obviously I don't have this memorized, so I'll read it out of my book. But before I read it, I want to explain that these goal setting commandments are ways that you can establish your goals and then also optimize them or utilize what you want to do in life. You see, without goals, there is very little achievement because you have to have a plan. Without a plan, there is results, but there's no direction towards those results. So I feel like if you have direction through goal setting, it allows you to estimate or to image your goal or your results. And since you have it structured out, it makes it so much easier to obtain.
Wow. And always write it down, guys. Look, I'm sorry. That is so good. So good.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. So actually, I want to invite the listeners and guests and stuff, or whoever's listening to this, to write down your top 2 of these goal setting commandments. This is your little challenge. Obviously, I'm not going to know what happens behind this camera, but yeah, here we go. Just write down your 2 favorite. The 10 commandments of goal setting. Number 1, thou shalt not get distracted. Number 2, thou shalt be persistent. Number 3, thou shalt be easy on yourself if failure occurs.
That's good.
Thou shalt correct your mistakes. 5, thou shalt learn from every experience.
Wow.
6, thou shalt have faith in yourself. That's a big part, right?
Yes, yes.
7, thou shalt stay positive in every situation, even if it's difficult. 8, thou shalt never give up on your deepest desire.
Wow.
Yup. 9, thou shalt seek success in every day. Even when you don't have that much success, there's something that you were successful in.
That's good.
10, thou shalt work with your community to achieve. You can't forget other people. I mean, you can even, and this is, it sounds selfish, but you use your community to help achieve your goals, but at the same time, you help achieve their goals.
Yes, that is good. So let's pause. I'm going to say my 2 right now is thou shalt stay persistent.
I love it.
And I'm going to say thou shall, what was it? Not be so bad on yourself. Something like that.
Yes, ma'am. Thou shalt stay positive in every situation, or thou shalt never give up on your deepest desire.
Yes, yes. Those are really, really, really good and very important. Those are your 10 commandments in the Valued Leader book. It's something that I believe we're all doing, in every day as we're still striving for it. But that persistent one for me is a good one, because I'm one of those, I will start something and not finish,
Yeah, that would be
that's something I've been working on this year to complete a task. And no matter how small it is, to stay persistent, because you might not know what's going to happen on the other end, and it helps you combat that fear of the not knowing or thinking of the negative side of something might happen, Wow, those are rich. That's really, you know what? Once I finished reading your book, so my audience, I know I'm very terrible at having books by my side, even though I love reading. I'm actually out of town, been traveling, and I left Mr. Bowden's book. But I have to get through your book, and I might have to see when it's going to be in my book club. I have a book club, and we do a book a month, even though I try to read 2 books a month myself. That's rich. Oh my God. Whoa. Yeah, that is very good. You're at a good place. You're at a good place being so young. Because I'm just thinking about when I was in my 20s. Oh, man, I had kids already. I actually got married when I was 22. And I kind of was just all over the place. I think I was a scattered brain, at that time, unfortunately. But I'm glad that what you've been through has brought you to this place, has led you to write this book. And I know we're going to have many more books for you and other projects that you're doing, to where you're going, to each level that, you're climbing in your life journey as being that leader. Oh.
Thank you. Hey, since you brought it up, would it be okay if I give you a quick sneak peek of my second book, chapter of one of my second, one of the chapters in my second book.
Sure, that's a
This
treat.
is, yeah, nobody really knows about this. So this is just for your audience right now.
Awesome.
But this is some powerful stuff. I love my first book, but fortunately, I was going to say unfortunately because of my old book, but fortunately, I just keep on getting better at what I'm doing.
Yeah,
So
that's
this
good.
is some powerful stuff. And so I'll only read 2 paragraphs because obviously it's a book and it's
Of
going to be
course. Yeah.
lengthy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so uh, should I start from the beginning? Yeah, I guess so. Many of us, it's so hard to say because I really want to read more, but since it's lengthy, I really have to kind of limit myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so many of us humans think that peace comes from a happy and positive situation. Many of us think that peace is temporary and has its cycles. As it begins to leave the grasp of our mind, we begin to start waiting for the cycle to return it into our lives. As we enter our struggles and trials, do we truly believe that peace can have a place in this storm? Do we truly believe that peace can be generated no matter how much pain and suffering that we are in? First, we must understand the cause and effect of suffering. The cause is dependence on daily variables, an absence of purpose or attachment, the idea of wanting more, or any other thing that brings discomfort. Understanding these are all important because each emotion is valid until the balance is removed. Kind of like we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
Each emotion is valid until the balance is removed, which is, in this case, is the effect. The effect is something that outlines the way we act or behave as we feel something inside, while the cause being internally through a source of events that is processed through interpretation. If the effect causes a deficiency in our behavior when the mind is consumed through emotion, or where the mind is consumed through emotion, then the result of the storms are strengthened and begins to develop internally.
Wow. Wow. Peace and balance. Your inner man. Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this. Oh, you're gonna have a fan forever. I,
I appreciate it.
yes. I love books that helps teach us, that helps with self-development, that cultivate us, that feeds my brain, helps me grow. That's the books I love. I don't do too much fiction or romance, I want to feed my brain. I want to feed my
Exactly.
soul. I want to learn a little bit more in life, Um, and that's what you're doing. Wow. That is, man, that's amazing. That is amazing. So, how did you come up with the title of this first book, The Valued Leader?
Well, there's a lot of emotions that go into this. There's a lot of ideas and concepts. And to be honest, I really didn't do too much research to construct this book. I just went off my past experience and what I've obtained or what knowledge I've obtained through experience. But the valued leader is probably because that when we look at the world, we see all types of leadership. We have political leadership, religious leadership. We have all types of leadership, whether it be good or bad. And so in the book, it actually talks about how once you obtain leadership, and I kind of brought this up earlier, but once you obtain leadership, the followers are following you for a certain reason.
Yeah.
So when you look at the bigger picture, and this is the 4th chapter of the book, when you look at the bigger picture as your leadership, and you take your people down a path that's probably going to jeopardize you, but allow them to achieve their desired outcome, and then that's how you become a very valuable leader.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, exactly. So, why I named it the valued leader is because leaderships are extremely valuable. Think about it. When we go to war, we go to war with a leader. When we go, like think about football. When you're playing football, you're following the leader. There's certain people constructing that the playing field.
Yeah.
So leadership is a very valuable thing, and we have to construct it wisely. Because if we don't construct it wisely, then unfortunately, we allow other people to, I guess, enter in their downfall.
Yeah, diminish it. Yeah, totally.
Exactly. And
Totally.
so, yeah, so the value leader becomes valuable, or I use the term because I see how valuable it is to be a
Yeah.
leader. I see how much power that leaders have.
Mm-hmm.
So when people read this book, I want them to understand that this, whatever knowledge you learn from this book, is up to you to use. Although you're going to understand what does what. So if you lead people to benefit yourself rather than them, it's going to talk about that and what's going to happen afterwards.
Yeah.
Just vice versa with, if you're leading people that might jeopardize your own self but allow other people to become successful, then it also talks about that and explains why and why not you shouldn't do, why or why not you should do these things.
Yeah, that's good. And let them know you are valued. You are worth it, believe
Yes.
in yourself, That's what I, was getting from your book. And it's just so rich. I'm just in awe. And I thank you for being here, opening up to us, sharing a piece of your world with us, and writing this. And kudos, man, much success, as you're writing another one. And guys, his book is on Amazon, and they also could go to your website, correct? I believe.
Yes, ma'am.
A link on there. There we go, guys. The Valued Leader, get it, learn from it, utilize it, negating his age. Because I'm just telling you, our young adults, they're bringing the fire. And when I say the fire, they want to cultivate our world for us. They want us to grow. And I'm blessed. I'm honored. Thank you, Taylor.
Yes, ma'am.
To have someone like you in my life, because I will be in touch with you.
Of course.
Especially when we have this next book. To see how you're doing, and to help push you, to help
you already have. Thank you.
Seriously. Yeah, your platform. It's amazing. It's amazing. And the world needs more people like you. We do. Our world needs more Taylors out there.
Thank you.
Any last words before we sign off?
Of course, I would love to give you my last words. So first of all, before I continue, I would like to show my appreciation towards you and your podcast, allowing me to talk about resilience in my book about leadership.
Yes.
And then also about God, because I'm a very religious person. I wasn't always religious in my life, even though I was born in a religion. But due to the odds and to the unfortunate situations that I was in, unfortunately, I had to learn for myself the hard way, and to actually use that knowledge to come back into believing that God, our Almighty Father, is available to help us out if we allow Him to help us.
Yes.
Okay, so my last words is now these are my last words. Okay. My last words is that in the beginning of the book, it talks about that anybody has a chance to be a leader, because I don't want anybody to be turned off at this conversation or this idea or even this book because they don't think they're a leader or they don't think they can obtain leadership. Well, this book will kind of prove you wrong, because the thing is, we all have a chance to be a leader. It just depends how we use our leadership or how we use our time to obtain leadership. So since we are all uniquely different, and this is a very big part of my book, it talks about this over and over again. Since we're all uniquely different, we are all 1 out of a billion type of chance. And so each one of us have our own experience and our own journey and our own talents and skills. So since that's the case, we all have the ability to teach something that other people do not know. Think about it. Like you probably taught me a lot of things about you and the world that you construct, just like I did for you. And then, like, even I can even go down to a middle school or whatever, and there will be a way that I'll be taught one thing or the other if I hang out there long enough. So we all have the ability to be a leader. And so please don't give up on yourself if you don't think you're a leader. I mean, maybe leadership's not for everybody. That's understandable. But if you have any desire or intention of leading, especially leading people towards a healthy lifestyle or a spiritual lifestyle, then please
Mhm.
take charge of your desire and allow this desire to help you establish your leadership. And so don't count yourself out. Actually, think about the 10 goal setting commandments as you
Yes,
try to obtain leadership.
yes, yes, yes. That is awesome. That is good. And I also want all to just remember your trials, they don't limit you. Your trials that you go through, they won't stop you. Taylor is here giving us an example of him growing up with an abusive father, and beating the odds because he made some bad choices, but he turned it around. And again, awesome, 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 awesome. So, guys, that book, The Value Leader, yes, yes.
Yup, this one.
Congrats. I think that is awesome because I'm still working on my first book. Like I really am. And I'm like, okay, Dawn, you got to get this. It's going to be out this year. I have to. I gave myself a goal and I have to crush it. And you just motivated me more. I'm like, he did, girl. You could do it too. Come on now. You know?
You best believe it.
Yes. And I just want to take a quick moment, Taylor, just to thank my audience, to thank some friends in my world. I'm wearing orange today. Taylor, I don't know if I shared with you, but I lost my son from gun violence 4 years ago this month. And it's been National Gun Violence Awareness Weekend. National Gun Violence Day was Friday, and we hashtag wear orange to bring peace, to bring more focus on better gun laws here. So I just want to thank the friends and family out there that did this with me. They wore orange. They messaged me. They tagged me, and I thank you. Thank you very much. And Taylor, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Our time is valuable. I tell all my guests I'm grateful. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your time with me because we don't get it back. And I'm appreciative of that. Very appreciative of that. Thank you very much.
Of course. Glad to help.
Thank you. My Resilience family, it's been a good one again, guys. You all stay blessed, stay well, and always, always stay resilient. The Valued Leader, guys. Get that book.